Morning guys, welcome back. Switching it up a bit today. Got Phil's 2021 Dmax here, one of the new ones, and PDI's intercooler kit. So I've already unboxed it, but it was actually packaged really nicely and nice and safe. And they reckon that this one's a bit easier to fit than the previous generation intercooler, so we'll see how that goes. They've also done an upgrade on the hose so that it won't sweat out of the bottom of the intercooler apparently, so time will tell on that as well. But first up, we're just going to remove all the front bumper and grille and your front push bar or whatever it's called. Right, so the front come off pretty easy. Obviously they're all just plastic clips, which you just pop up with your screwdriver. You've got the ones up the top, and then you've got one screw through the middle of your grille, and then this grille section will come off. And then in regards to your bumper, you've got these four plastics here, and then we've just got to go around now and pull the plastic off here and get to the clips so that this bumper comes free, and we'll just rip this bumper off on both sides. Right, so each wheel well has two plastic clips that you need to do. So one up under the fender, another one just up underneath around this area. About here-ish, I've forgotten already. Oh no, just here. And then you've got one 10mm nut to unbolt. You would have seen me, I unbolted a few extras because I didn't really know what I was doing. But yeah, you've only got those three and that comes clear. And then there's two more clips, so one here and one there for the center bumper. Don't know if you can see very well, let's try that again. One here and one there for the center bumper, and then same on this side, one 10mm nut, your plastic clip, and the other one up by the fender over there. And the only other thing you got to do is on this side there's this plug here, so you just, I don't know what this one's for, but this is the plug that I had to undo, and all of the fog lights and stuff stay on the bumper itself. So now all I got to do is remove this front bar here, which apparently is 4 bolts, and probably all of this crap. Right, we'll get into that now. Right, so there's not much left on the front end. Rear bumper bracket has to come off. Your top center part and your bonnet latch, just pretty easy to all pull off. Headlights as well, which is 4 screws in total, 4 10mm bolts in total, and then you just got your 2 plugs on both sides. This has had a transcooler fitted. I mean, obviously, ideally take it off, but we won't need to with this, so I've just put a bit of foam in behind the cooler to stop it, just in case it gets rubbed. Those hoses are brand new, but if it was on there for a while, I'll be pulling the hoses off just in case. And yeah, now we're just at the intercooler removal stage. So both hoses are off. We're gonna have to pull these off entirely because they go to a steel pipe, which is a much nicer design. So I've already pulled this off. I'm pretty sure if it's anything like the old generation, I should probably read the instructions before I start talking to you, but I don't. It was like the old generation, we had to pull this off and it went straight onto the manifold, but we'll find out in a minute. So I'm just gonna pop this off now. Obviously all you got is this sensor, which is one of those flash ones by the looks. So you're just gonna pull the clip back first before you can squeeze it in. Ooh, almost fell over. And then yeah, 4 bolts and Bob's your uncle. So we'll get into it. Alright, so I know this is what everyone wanted to see. Oh, I've got this intercooler on upside down there, but so I know this is what everyone wanted to see. So this is the size difference. Not only is it bigger, let me put this over here for you. Give you guys an idea of the height difference. Not only is it bigger by about 40% in height, it's also fatter as well. So I'll get some measurements for you. Right, so Daddy Crocs, 75mm in comparison to 65mm. You're looking at 10mm bigger there. A quick eyeball looks like maybe 130mm taller. And if you look, I'll line this core up exactly with the other one. You're looking at, I'd say, an extra 20mm of core width as well. So if that don't make a difference, I don't know what will. The only thing I think you swap over from this to the new cooler is obviously your, I'm assuming that's your map sensor, I don't know, and your rubber grommets. So on the old model, you used to have to pull the metal sleeve out first and then feed the rubber grommet in, and then push the metal sleeve back through, otherwise it doesn't fit like that. So yeah, we're going to do that now and then start. Actually, I might read the instructions because I probably shouldn't put this in yet until I know that the hoses are going to fit and stuff with it in. So also just got pointed out that the internal diameter is thicker on the new one as well of the intake. So 45mm on this, and you're looking at almost 55mm on that as well. So it's going to flow a lot nicer too. It's actually a really nice bit of kit. Alright, so I didn't really read the instructions. They've got really good quality photos, look at that. And you know what males are like, we just like to look at the pictures. So this does come off, and you put this elbow on here, and then this has the new port for the sensor to go on. So you've got that pipe, which now goes through your headlight, which is a far better design in my opinion than the old one. The old one on the older model used to come through this gap here, and it made it real hard to keep the hose from rubbing on the radiator hose. So this is a really nice like upgrade. Just got your one little joiner there, which will go onto the intercooler when I fit it. This side's just one solid piece with this pipe here, which is supposedly a leak-proof one, so if I get any sweaty oil in there, it won't leak out, make a mess. And then yeah, you just got your joints. So looks quite well refined. We'll just find out in a second how well it goes together, I suppose. Right, so the intercooler's in. You would have seen me messing around with this bottom bit. So you sort of got, you're left with two options here, but how they say to do it in the instruction manual is up the very top and under the bottom. However, the bottom hits on the hose. I don't like that. Could end up to quite a decent, a bad outcome there. So I'm just going to go for these two up here, like I originally very first put it on. I suppose the downfall to that is you probably don't quite have as much strength as it being at the bottom, but I mean they're still two very solid brackets, so I wouldn't be worried about that at all. But you can see on this side as well, it rubs on the bolt when it's wound all the way in, so you could probably just like lever the bracket out a bit, but then you don't know how much clearance you've got facing forward, so it's just not worth it. So I'll quickly bust them out, put them in the other two brackets, and then we'll work on the intake manifold pipe work. Right, so in the instructions it stipulates to mount your 4 rubber bushes and steel washers down the bottom here, but you can't actually get the get it all in there properly without hitting on the hose, so we've just used a small washer with a bigger washer and a bit of rubber behind and put the other mounts up top. So it's not ideal. I don't know if the brackets are just slightly different here, but as you can see on this one, even with this setup, that there's not much clearance between the hose and the bracket. So you would have seen earlier on anyway. I've just done the from the turbo, so you do have to chop the hose down to get it to fit at the right length. And yeah, now I'm just going to pop this inlet manifold off, pull this sensor out and put it in this pipe, and we'll just run that elbow hose in here and straight down like the older model Dmax. The only difference is obviously now they're coming through the headlights rather than the tiny little gap in here. So it looks like because of that they've ended up with a bigger intercooler, which is cool. Alright, so this bracket here like the old model, we can pull this off because it doesn't really do anything now. And then you'll have to you can clarify in the comments below, but this one here, obviously off the inlet manifold going into the engine, this will be your map sensor, so your boost. I'm assuming that this is going to be like an intercooler temp sensor, but not 100% sure. And then this will be your MAF. So it's always good, guys, to keep your MAF sensor and your map sensor. So this one here and this one clean. I do it every couple of services or whatever. Especially if you're not running a catch can, because you'll end up getting... Actually, it won't really matter on this. On a lot of other diesels that have the plastic sensor with a hole inside, it'll gum up with crap and shit. It won't read properly. But I think this one here shouldn't be too bad. You might just get a bit of varnishing or whatever on the sensor. So just a bit of electrical cleaner or MAF sensor cleaner on both of them should help you get better readings. There you have it, guys. It's all back together. In comparison to the previous model, I'd say the hosing requires a lot less work. There's a lot less that actually goes and rubs and everything. So I ended up pulling off this inner bracket as well, because your harness is still supported by this one. Looks good. And that's where your new map sensor sits. All you got to do is obviously take this for a proper spin and get her under lots of boost and make sure that these hoses have all set. And when they do set, because they will move a tiny bit, these pipes, until the actual lip sets on the clamp. So you always try and set the hose clamp right behind the raised lip. I'm just going to make sure that it's not going to rub on this hose, which I'll probably tweak, and the aircon hose. But in regards to everything else, it's been all clear. The only other spot which possibly is tight is around here by this headlight bracket. But apart from that, the only other drama we ran into was the mounts, which wasn't really a big deal, but all goes together quite nicely now. So we'll slap this back together and we'll go for a drive. Right, so I've got to cut all the air ducting now to make it fit around the intercooler, but Fun fact, read the instructions. I've got to cable tie these cooler hoses as well so they don't rub. This here is a drain bung for your intercooler, so if you don't have a catch can, this client shouldn't have to worry too much because he does. Like once a year or whatever it says to pull this bung out and make sure you get rid of any excess oil. So that's a pretty cool little feature. And this is an air temp sensor, so yeah. Right guys, sorry about that. I've lost the final bit of the video, so my exit video, but that's alright. Phil just sent me through a dyno sheet. Pretty much he's just had a basic touring remap done, a safe tune. He drove straight from my house to the dyno to get it done. So as far as being able to tell if he's had any difference or anything like that, it's not really going to be able to give us an actual reliable response to that, because he hasn't really driven with it enough. This car's also only done 7,000 Ks or something, so basically it's not really the right time of year either to tell if it did make a difference, because it's nice and cool, air's nice and condensed, you know. So you would have known a lot more if, say, it was the middle of summer and 40 degrees, but it isn't currently. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you on the next one.